Hey guys, this is Derek from Pacific Coast Auto Japan here, and we're looking at our auction purchase of a Volkswagen Lupo 3L that's going to be exported to Canada. And so if you don't know what this is, today is your lucky day, because this is one of the coolest cars, and this car is going out to a personal friend of mine who has been looking for one of these for quite some time. And so the Volkswagen Lupo is a regular tiny car. This one is a special edition, and Volkswagen probably lost all their money on every one of these that they sold because it's kind of a research and development vehicle, and most likely the cost of these would be much higher than it would actually cost to profit off of them. So let's see what we have. We have a 1.2 liter turbo diesel engine in here, front wheel drive, and makes 64 horsepower. Now, the specialness of the vehicle is because this is a super duper amazing, crazy hypermiler car. And the 3L, I'm going to show you the badge on the back. TDI 3L. The 3L is special. The 3L stands for 3 liters to drive your skinny butt 100 kilometers. That's pretty amazing, even by today's standards. This car is now 17 years old. And so they did that through all sorts of craziness, and I'm going to get into the ones that I know. I didn't research too much about this, but I do know a little bit, so let's see what we got. The 1.2 liter engine has 2 different settings. The regular setting, which this is a higher performance engine than the regular diesel that comes in the Lupo. The regular Lupo diesel is 66 horsepower, and this one's 66 horsepower, but the regular engine in the Lupo is a 1.9, and so you get a higher performance engine in this one. You set it to Eco mode though, and you only have 44 horsepower, and that's how you get your super good mileage, partially settings for the engine, settings for the transmission, and other things. So not much to say here. It's a fairly standard engine. It is louder than your regular diesels even. You can probably hear that in the video. Nice hood prop. Hood is made out of aluminum, and that's really the key to this vehicle, is huge weight reduction over the standard Lupo. Now think about this. The Lupo is a tiny car. I'll go once around here. Tiny, tiny car. Look, the door is almost the whole car. And yet somehow they found a way to get 150 kilograms off of the regular Lupo weight. That's pretty amazing. And so they have an aluminum hood, aluminum trunk. I believe they're aluminum doors. In the article I read, it even goes as far as aluminum seat rails. So they could save, like, I don't know, 60 grams each one. But 150 kilograms, that's pretty amazing. The other way they did it was to get an amazing drag coefficient on this one. The standard one I think is 0.32, and this one is 0.28. And unless you know a lot about drag, it's really hard to get a good aero in a small car like this, because they're just not designed to cut through the air very well, especially the air coming off the back, which is pretty much flat. And so they did a lot of improvements. The front end has been closed up. The car's been lowered, I think, 1.5 centimeters. And it has a different kind of diffuser on the end from the standard Lupo. But the way that that curls up, it makes sure that the air doesn't kind of slow down the car too much. I wanted to clean this car up because it is such a special vehicle. Unfortunately, the pollen attacked, and I really wanted to get the video done. That's terrible. The video done today because this vehicle missed the boat coming over to Yokohama. It was bought in Kobe because the stupid driver didn't know how to function the transmission. And that's another kind of special thing about this. It uses a proprietary transmission that's not used in any other vehicle, and it's a manual transmission that the computer drives for you, so you don't have a clutch. Really strange. But it is, in my experience, not a very good transmission. That's a weak point of this vehicle, despite the very, very coolness of it. And it just doesn't like shifting. Now you can shift it yourself, which alleviates pretty much all of the problem, but then you have to be shifting your own car, which is good when you have a clutch, but when you don't have a clutch, it can be a little bit annoying. So let's look over the details. Year 2000 Volkswagen Lupo 3L TDI diesel turbo. Of course, TDI is turbo diesel injection. Auction grade 4, interior B, exterior B, 127, 200 kilometers, which for a hypermiler car is really not that bad because nobody would buy this car unless people are going to be driving high mileage. Left-hand drive, of course, in Japan you can get left or right-hand drive cars. Diesel vehicle, toll collection box, alloy wheels, front bumper underside scratched, headrest ×2 is missing, underside surface rust and corrosion, but I couldn't find the corrosion of the surface rust. It looked very good to me. Not saying that there isn't any though. Put it up on a lift and somewhere you're going to find some. Obviously the buyer knows about this because they get all of this information when they're choosing what to buy. Seat stain, headliner stain. Headliner's very dirty in this car. Pretty crazy. Various scratches and dents. It says B4 on this side. Let me show you. Almost every Skyline in existence has a bigger damage than this on the side sill. Just looks like somebody jacked it up. And I'm not meaning like, I'm so jacked up. I mean like, to raise it up to change a tire. Really no damage at all. The body, other than that, is basically perfect, aside from C1 on the roof. So C1 is corrosion. This is something that would absolutely lower the value of the car. It's really not that bad. This section here, there's a little bit on this side and on this side of the dip. And the other side has 2 in basically the same area. Here. And here. Now C1 could definitely be worse than that. It's better than I expected it to be, and probably better than the person who's buying this expected it to be as well, I would hope. Okay, so let's just take a look at the side panels because they're really good, and black cars deserve good side panels because they're basically like mirrors to the world that show you every single defect and dent in the paint. And so we have really good side panels, and I've seen the wheels that are going on this car. They are going to make this car really stand out. The Lupo was never available in Canada, and so anyone who sees it, and Volkswagen nuts, myself included, because I'm kind of one of them, love this car for the most part. It's kind of like the spiritual successor to the Mark I Golf. It is basically the same size. They are heavier. I think this one, even with the weight reduction, you're sitting at 1,100 kilos or something. I think the original Rabbit was, or Golf Mark I, was somewhere in the range of 900, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, tiny little trunk here, but the seats do fold forward. Interior, other than the headliner, is pretty clean. It looks like it's been cleaned up properly. The doors all make a weird sound too. Listen. Maybe that's not weird to you. It's weird to me. And this is so light. And I'm thinking the weird sound comes from the different reverberations in aluminum than in steel. So, if you're extremely big, like a sumo wrestler, you can get into this car really easily. The door is about as big as a really big door. You can probably get into it like rolling sideways, that's how wide it is. Now, you don't get any power steering, because power steering has weight. No power windows, because power windows have weight. And I believe these door cards with the speakers there are from a different style of Lupo, because I couldn't see them putting that, which looks heavy, into a car that also doesn't have AC. No AC, no power steering, no nothing. You're going to get nothing so that you get really good mileage. And lucky this is going to Canada, where for 10 of the months you don't need air conditioning. In fact, growing up, very few of the cars that I was ever in ever had air conditioning. That's really hard to do here in Japan. And something a little bit weird, check this out. The seller of the car was like, derpy, derpy, derp. This car's got AC, la, 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 la. So we didn't know until we got the car. So we're gonna contact the auction and say, hey, D-bags, there's no AC in this car. Give us the monies. And see if they give it to us. I don't know if they will. Okay, so this folds forward. Seats are really thin, and I believe these are different seats from the standard Lupos. And not much space in the back. Look at all the space they get in the front. Whoosh. But then not much space in the back. And it's a modern design. It's kind of Mark IV Golf era, which I really like. And the steering wheel feels great. It's super grippy. It's very nice looking. And I like the way that the thumb pads are a little bit different. It feels very comfortable. And that's more important than people think. Easy to get out. Sit in. Gauges are blue. It's cool. Blue gauge is cool, man. Has been smoked in, but doesn't smell bad in the car. There's the echo button down there. Now the echo button does start stop, and I believe it also does engine off coasting. And here's the shifty thing, and this is why the vehicle was late. It's a little bit weird, so let me show you how this works. Right now it's in neutral. There is no park. You can turn the engine off while the car is still on by going up to stop. Turns the engine off. You can go to reverse by pushing the button here, and going up, you need brakes on. Pardon me. There we go. So it's in reverse. Or you can go down to E. I don't know what E stands for, but it means driving forward. And then over here for your up and your down. And it's a 5-speed, so it's pretty good. And it shifts pretty well when you flick. It's just like a standard automatic transmission, Tiptronic version of it. When you go into E, it's a little bit unresponsive, but I think it's trying to get good fuel economy. I've never driven another one though, so I don't know if it's possibly something that's wrong with this one. Okay, so glass all the way around you. Look at this, so easy to see in every direction. And I love that. Very small, very nippy car, and super fun to drive. The Lupo, oh, I'm sorry. The Lupo also comes in a GTI model. I don't think that they're legal for Canada yet, because the person who bought this also wants to get a GTI version. The GTI comes with a twin cam, 1.6 liter naturally aspirated gasoline, obviously a lot faster than this. I think that one's somewhere in the range of about 120 horsepower or so, 110. But this one here, you can drive all across Canada for about 1/3 the price of any other car. And so that is kind of cool. So that's going to be the end of the video here. Hope you enjoyed this very special vehicle. And if you have any questions, you can post them in the comments. If you want to buy one of these, you can. They come up every once in a while, but it's really not that common. Maybe like once per 3 or 4 or 5 months or 6. I don't know. And then the condition might not be as good as this one is. I think that we got a little bit lucky on the condition of this one because the sheet looks a little bit worse than the actual vehicle is. This one seems to be a pretty nice little Lupo. So, thank you everyone for watching, and have a nice day.